Hi, my name is Emma Yoakum and this is Remade by Emma. Welcome to my channel where I knit, sew, and DIY, often using secondhand materials. In today's video, I wanted to talk about some things on my knitting wish list. Knitting is my latest obsession. I mean, I've been knitting for a couple years now, but I am just totally obsessed with it lately. I think it's because it's winter time, but basically I have some things that are on my knitting wish list that I haven't really bought because I don't have like the disposable income to just like spend on these items. They're not like outrageous, most of them, but they're just things that would be nice to have. So if you're looking for some ideas for just some knitting accessories that you would like to have and would make your life a little easier, probably, here's my list. These are not items that I have, obviously. They're on my wish list, and someday I plan on getting most of them. Probably not all of them, but most of them. It is a wish list. So we're just gonna jump into those. The biggest thing on my wish list right now is a felt board to pin all of my little things on, like pin my gauge swatches, pin some like maybe some quilt blocks, just like things to inspire me. I would love that. So I would love to put it on this wall behind me, this huge blank wall. I got this idea from another creator on YouTube. I will just put her name right here. She gave me this idea because she has a huge felt pin board on her wall behind her in her videos, and I just think it's so pretty and aesthetic for videos, but also I think it would be very motivating to just like have my knitting, you know, my knitting gauge swatches pinned to it, to like remember like what sort of yarns I have in my stash and like what sort of sweaters I'm planning. And I think it would just be really pretty and a really great way to like fill up this blank wall. By the way, I will have most of these items linked on my Amazon in case you're interested in links. These are like specific items that I plan on buying someday, which is why I'll have them linked. Next up, I have, it's a knitting light. Oh, it's kind of like a reading light, I guess, for like reading books. I guess I don't do that much reading because I haven't needed it. This would be a great item for knitting, especially in the winter when the sun goes down super early. But just in the evening, just to get some knitting in. My husband loves to turn the lights down while watching a show or something, but then it makes it kind of hard to knit while watching the show, which I want to knit. But also, I get up multiple times within the night to take care of my daughter and my baby, and so I'll like wake up with her, feed her, change her diaper, put her back to bed, but then it takes a little minute for her to fall asleep, and so I will sometimes knit during those minutes, and it would be great to have like a light on my neck so that I can like see what I'm doing. So that's next on my list. Also on my knitting wish list is an I-cord maker. I actually love having just like I-cord for things on my knitting bag. It's a drawstring project bag, and I knit a huge drawstring, or a huge like I-cord to be the string for the drawstring bag. I made a pair of drawstring pants for my daughter recently, and I made I-cord for it, and I think I-cord is great for lots of things. I've seen people like use it to tie bows in their hair. I love the look of I-cord. I don't mind making I-cord, but it is kind of like just tedious, and also I feel like it's never really perfect because you can tell like where the beginning of the needle is, like throughout the chain there's like a weird stitch. So it would be really great to have an I-cord maker. They have like really cheap ones that are like manual, but then they also make some that are electric, which that's one on my wish list because that would be so convenient and fun. Also, I'm talking about all of like the very attainable things on my wish list first, and then I'll talk about some of them that are less attainable. So I don't know where I could get this, but I've seen this little gauge swatch tool, and it just like lines up exactly like how many stitches across and how many rows are in that 4x4 inch swatch size. I think that would be so convenient. I hated swatching before, like making gauge swatches. I actually love it now. I'm kind of a monogamous, you know, I'm a monogamous knitter, meaning that I just like kind of work on one project at a time most of the time. But I do have a lot of temptation to work on my next projects that I'm dreaming of, and swatching for them really helps me to, or it kind of curbs my appetite for starting a new project. I think this little gauge swatch tool would be so handy. Okay, next, I think I saw this on TikTok. Someone had the idea to organize your stitch markers into like a little pill container, like a portable pill container. There's this specific one on Amazon that I think would be really perfect for this. You can just stick it in your project bag and that would just be super convenient. Oh, and it has like clear tops to it so you can like see where everything is also. An absolute essential that I do not have yet is stitch stoppers. You just stick them onto the end of your knitting needle and they prevent your stitches from falling off. It's an essential. I really need to get those, but I just haven't yet. Okay, now we're getting to some of the less attainable items on my knitting wish list. So I have a knitting machine. I think the model is the Brother KX350. It's just a pretty basic knitting machine. Definitely not like the best of the best, but I got it for a pretty good deal. I feel like they usually go for around like $300 secondhand, and I got mine for $150, so pretty good. And it's fun. I really like it. I'm still kind of figuring it out, but I wish it had some other abilities. Basically, you just like knit flat on it. You can't really do ribbing and you can't do color work, but I do dream of having those abilities, like to for it to be able to do color work, to do ribbing, because usually when I do projects on the knitting machine, I just do the ribbing by hand, which isn't bad, but it would just be cool if it could do everything. Oh, also, I wish that I could extend it more. So they have like one that's like kind of in the same price range as the one that I got, that you can add like plates to it to extend it to make it longer. I don't even have the room to have a longer one, but like I wish I could make way bigger panels of knit things, especially like I like knitting in pretty small yarns most of the time. Like I don't really go any bigger than like a worsted weight. With the knitting machines, the smaller the yarn you use, the less fabric you end up getting, because it's all like scrunched up more, if that makes sense. So like if you use bigger yarn, it's gonna make a bigger like panel of fabric. If you use smaller yarn, it's gonna make a much smaller panel of fabric. Anyways, but because I like to use smaller yarns a lot of the times, I wish I could extend it and make much bigger panels. Obviously that would also mean I would need a much bigger space, but I just think it would be cool to kind of upgrade to a different knitting machine someday, one with more like capabilities and stuff like that. But they don't really make new knitting machines. Like it would have to be secondhand and vintage, which I'm not opposed to, but obviously it would just take some shopping around, and one with all of those capabilities would be fairly expensive. So that's why it's on my knitting wish list and on the very end of it, because it's probably not as attainable for a long time. I'm pretty sure the last thing that I have on my list for right now is a sheep or like Angora bunnies, or like an alpaca. any of those sort of things. It is actually one of my biggest dreams to have a sheep someday, and or like maybe a goat or something like that. Just something that like I love to DIY. I love to do it myself, and like to truly do it from the very start, I just think is so appealing. I really love the idea of like having my own animal and, you know, shearing it / taking its fiber and cleaning it and spinning it, potentially dyeing it. Although I would love to just have like animals whose fiber are in different colors, like obviously like a white, a like black or gray, or like a deep brown, or like a camel-y color. It would be so fun to have like animals in all of those colors, and then you just use them in their natural colors, but you can still create like really cool organic looking colorwork pieces. I would just love that, and I've seen pages where they do that, and it's just like so magical. That is like my creative dream. Obviously, it's extremely sustainable, which I love sustainability, less consumerism. I just think it's so cool. But also you can use that sort of fiber for so many things. Like I feel like limited by my finances. Like if I had a sheep or like a couple of different animals that produce fiber like that, I would use their wool to like insulate my house. You can use it for like the soles of your shoes. You can obviously make tons of different clothing from it. I could use it for batting and quilts and stuff like that. So there's just so many possibilities with stuff like that, and it's way down the line. Like I don't know if I'll ever achieve that goal, but that would be my dream, is just to have like a miniature farm with a couple of animals just for their fiber. Honestly, I feel like the most achievable would be like an Angora bunny, because bunnies are like fairly simple to take care of. But also like Angora bunny fiber is just like so nice, like right off the bat, especially like an indoor bunny / you know, like bunnies like live in fenced in areas, and so their fur / fiber stays a lot cleaner. So you've probably seen the videos of ladies just like they've got their Angora bunny in their lap, and they're literally like spinning it from the bunny right into the spinning wheel. And yeah, it's just like so magical looking. So yeah, I feel like an Angora bunny would be the most attainable. Also, Angora bunnies, there are like two types. Like basically you can get an Angora bunny that sheds their fiber naturally instead of having to be sheared. So there's some that need shearing and some where they just shed it naturally, so you can like pull it out. And so I feel like that would also be the easiest, just because I wouldn't have to like be like, okay, today's the day, we're sharing the animals, you know. And in Angora bunny, you can just like take fiber from them here and there and just like sit and do that. But we'll see if I ever get around to that, but that would be so fun. So that's my knitting wish list. I'm sure I could come up with more ideas. So if you want a part 2, let me know and I can do a part 2. Again, I'll have like all of the Amazon type of items linked on my Amazon storefront, which will be in the description. Yeah, if you think of anything that is kind of a knitting essential that I should have on my wish list but I don't yet, comment it down below. Comment what's on your knitting wish list. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.